at the same time. Everyone can see me and hear me?
Yes, we can, Maharaj.
Very well.
Hare Krishna.
Very well.
Great. Hare Krishna. Good to see everybody. Oh, righty.
Welcome to
So I'm sure we'll get more people as the time goes on. And, okay. Dishnarayan Maharaj. Dishnarayan Prabhu is there. Hare Krishna. And we got, let's see, we got a few people. And then we're on Facebook too. So I think a lot of the people will be watching us on Facebook at this particular juncture. So we're ready to start. So welcome to the Sunday virtual feast where we have virtual prasadam and virtual darshan. Actually, are the curtains going to remain open the whole time or what? When? Okay, because at the end I'm going to give people a darshan of the deities using my computer. So we got people in Fiji, people in North Carolina, people in South America, people in Sacramento, people in New Zealand, and God knows where else. Okay, but not in Europe because it's the middle of the night. Hopefully we get someone in India. I don't see Praneshwar yet, but I guess he'll come on. Okay, so welcome to the Sunday virtual feast. We don't have any plans roping up right now because we're examining and studying what the state of North Carolina is going to do, and we're going to adhere to all the legal restrictions. And actually, we're very concerned with everyone's safety. That's the main thing. So, what's all that smell? There's a terrible smell coming here. From the kitchen or something? No, it's from the kitchen. Anyway, all right, so I am not virtually here in the temple room. I am really here in the temple room. So we're going to chant Jai Radha Madhava first, and then we will continue with our Bhagavad-Gita study. So what we've been doing is going through the Bhagavad-Gita verse by verse, purport by purport, and I'm speaking a few words. I'm not launching up into a whole lecture on each verse, but I'm explaining each verse and some of the terms in each verse so we can get a basic overview of the whole Bhagavad Gita. If they're cooking something in the kitchen, it's really not pleasing. Well, anyway, there's some smell somewhere. You don't smell it?
No, but maybe in a different place.
I'm very sensitive to it. Anyway, whatever. Okay, I will try to tolerate. Jai Ho Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Ho Radha Jai Ho Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gopi Jana Malava Kiribadu Dhaute Gopi Jana Malava Kiribadu Dhaute Yasudanandana Brajajana Ranjana Yasudanandana Brajajana Ranjana Jamuna Te Ravana Chagate Yamana Te Ravana Chagate Jai Urad Umadhova Kunya Bihare. Jayurad Madhuva Kunya Bihare. Gopi Jana Balaba Giribharathagote. Gopi Jana Balaba Giribharathagote. Yasodanandana Brajajanuranjahuna. Yasodanandana Brajajanuranjahuna. Jamuna Tirabana Chahote. Yamuna Ravana Chahote. Jai Hurad Umadhuva Kunja Bihagote. Jai Rad Madhuva Kunya Bihari. Jai Om Vishnupad Paramahansa Paravatakacharya, also Teta Satashi Shimad, His Divine Grace Sabaya Chadananda Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. Anandakoti Vaishnav Vrinda Ki Jai. Namacharya Srila Huilas Thakur Ki Jai. Parem Se Kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Shri Shri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopita Sayam Kunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai. Vrindavanam Ki Jai. Maturam Ki Jai. Jagadasami Ki Jai. Yumunamai Ki Jai. Srimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai. Samaveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai. Gaur Premananda Hari Hari Bol. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. So Om Ganat Timiranda Shah Gananjana Shlakaya Chakshur Unmiritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha. So we are continuing with our study of the Bhagavad Gita, going through verse by verse, purport by purport, word by word by word by word, and trying to understand how each verse fits into the context in which it's in the Bhagavad Gita. So it's a very nice way to get an overview of the Bhagavad Gita. This is probably going to take several months to complete. And if you can't tune in for each Bhagavad Gita class, it's going to be every day, East Coast, 6 East Coast USA, 6 o'clock in the afternoon, except for on Sunday, it's 5 o'clock in the afternoon. And the rest of you, New Zealand, Australia, India, wherever you are, can figure that out. And it's also on Facebook, as well as on Zoom, and it's recorded on Facebook, and hopefully it will also be on YouTube later on. So we are continuing with the 20th verse in the first chapter of the Gita. Now, the first chapter of the Gita, introductory, it sets the scene, And it gives us the historical context in which the Bhagavad Gita was spoken. It is actually an historical fact that the Bhagavad Gita was spoken on a battlefield. There's a real place called Kurukshetra, and that's where the battlefield was. So it's not simply some mythological thing or analogical or metaphorical type of description or simply a philosophical description. It is an actual occurrence that happened. Of course, occurrences always happen. Over 5,000 years ago, and there's proof, there's astronomical proof, astronomical not referring to something really big, but referring to the stars, how the scientists have calculated the actual date of the Mahabharata war based upon different things that are described in the Mahabharata, such as eclipses and other constellation configurations of constellations. They've used their computers to calculate the exact date. So this corroborates the actual dating of the Mahabharata war. So now we are on text 10 of the first chapter, and I'm going to read and then speak a little bit about each verse, but not launch into a whole lecture, hopefully. So text 10 is as follows. Atavyavastitam drishtva dhatarashtran kapidvajaha pravate shastra sangpate dhanurudyam yapandavaha rishikesham dadavakyam idam maha mahipate. And the synonyms are as follows. Ata, thereupon, vyavastitan, situated. Drishtra, looking upon. Dhartarashtran, the sons of Dhritarashtra. Kapidvajaha, he whose flag was marked with Hanuman. Pravarte, while about to engage, Shastra Sampate, in releasing his arrows. Danahu, bow. Udyamya, taking up. Pandavaha, the son of Pandu Arjuna. Rishikesham, unto Lord Krishna. Tada, at that time, Vakyam, words, idam, these. Aha, said, Mahi Pate, O king. And so the translation is as follows. At that time, Arjuna, the son of Pandu, seated on the chariot, bearing the flag marked with Hanuman, took up his bow and prepared to shoot his arrows. O king, after looking at the sons of Dhritarashtra, drawn in military array, Arjuna then spoke to Lord Krishna these words. So, purport by His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. The battle was just about to begin. It is understood from the above statement that the sons of Dhritarashtra were more or less disheartened by the unexpected arrangement of military force by the Pandavas, who were guided by the direct instructions of Lord Krishna on the battlefield. The emblem of Hanuman on the flag of Arjuna is another sign of victory, because Hanuman cooperated with Lord Ram in the battle between Rama and Ravan. And Lord Rama emerged victorious. Now both Rama and Hanuman were present on the chariot of Arjuna to help him. Lord Krishna is Rama himself, and wherever Lord Rama is, his eternal servitor Hanuman and his eternal consort Sita, the goddess of fortune, are present. Therefore, Arjuna had no cause to fear any enemies whatsoever. And above all, the Lord of the senses, Lord Krishna, was personally present to give him direction. Thus, all good counsel was available to Arjuna in the matter of executing the battle. In such auspicious conditions, arranged by the Lord for his eternal devotee, lay the signs of assured victory. 2 points I wanted to mention here. First of all, the non-difference of Krishna and Lord Ram. So there's many Shastric references to that. First of all, we got the Brahma Samhita, Dvaita, Achyuta, Anadir, Anantarupam, Adyam, Purana. Purasham Naviyopanam Cha. There's one God. He has variety of forms, variety of pastimes. Also, the Srimad Bhagavatam, 80 Changsa Kalakpumsa, Krishna's to Bhagavan Vayam, Swayam. And in Lord Krishna's pastimes themselves, in Vrindavan, Krishna exhibited his non-difference from Ram. There's two things that happened that exhibited his non-difference from Ram. One thing is that once upon a time, Yashoda Mai, that's Krishna's mother, was telling bedtime stories to Krishna. Now, most of us, when we were young, we had bedtime stories, but our bedtime stories were not spiritual. At least mine weren't. More or less, they were like Goldilocks and the 10 bears or 8 bears, or how many bears there were, doesn't matter. And Little Red Riding Hood, things like that. But Krishna was listening to the pastimes of Lord Ram while he was taking rest. And Yashoda Maya was reading or speaking about the pastimes of Lord Ram. And when it got to the point that Ram pulled out his bow and arrows in the narration, Krishna stood up on his bed and started screaming, "Kill that Rakshasa! Kill that Rakshasa!" And Yashoda Maya couldn't understand what was happening. She didn't know that her son was the Supreme Personality of Godhead and that previously he was Lord Ram. So there's one instance. Another instance is that famous story where Krishna tells the gopis that I was Lord Ram. And the gopis tease him and say, "Yeah, you're Lord Ram, just you're too puffed up here. If you're Lord Ram, build a bridge across this particular body of water." And Krishna said, "Okay." And then the gopis said, "But if you're actually Lord Ram, you have to have the monkeys do it." And so Krishna called for the monkeys in Braj, and the monkeys built a bridge over that particular body of water. That's another proof in the pastimes of Krishna. So there's so many proofs of the non-difference of Krishna and Ram. Actually, I just thought of another proof. Another proof was when Lord Ram and Sita were visiting Vrimuna. Vrimuna is a place where the deity of Shira Chora Gopinath is. Now, you may wonder, how did that deity get there? Well, I'm going to tell you. Once upon a time, Sita Devi said to Lord Ram, "What do you look like when you appear in the Dwapara Yuga?" Because when Sita and Ram appeared, it was the Treta Yuga. So Lord Ram, instead of saying anything, pulled out an arrow from his quiver and took a big stone, and with the tip of the arrow, he carved a deity of Krishna. And that's the deity of Shirachora Gopinath, which Madhavendra Puri interacted with, and Shirachora Gopinath, of course, stole the sweet rice from Madhavendra Puri, and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu visited, and Lord Nityananda visited there. There's many pastimes that occurred with that particular deity. So that's the proof that Lord Ram and Krishna are the same, just acting differently in different circumstances according to the need. So another point in this particular purport and verse is that Arjuna has on his chariot the flag of Hanuman. Now, there's a whole story behind that. And the story is as follows. When the Pandavas were in exile, for some period of time, they were executing austerities in order to become more powerful, to get weapons, to get the blessings of the demigods, and even Arjuna to become a dancing teacher. So Bhimsen, remember we described yesterday, he was called Vrikodara, which means wolf belly, voracious eater. So Bhimsen was actually doing great austerities. And one time, there's a story in the Mahabharata, Draupadi asked him, "Please get me some flowers from the heavenly planets," because one of the flowers had somehow or other blown in from the heavenly planets. And she said, I want a whole bunch of them. And Bhimsen, being very obedient, he immediately headed up towards the higher regions in the universe. And as he was heading up towards the higher regions in the universe, there was an old monkey whose tail was lying across the path. Now, the Kshatriyas, they would respect all living entities and not want to step over any living entity unnecessarily, because the Kshatriyas had the education that Krishna is in everyone's heart, and everyone is part and parcel of Krishna. So he didn't want to step over the old monkey's tail. He asked the old monkey, please move your tail, and the old monkey said, I'm too weak, you have to move it for me. And so what happened is Bhimsen tried to move the tail, and with all of his strength, which was basically the strength of Vayu, which like millions of elephants, he couldn't move the tail. Somehow or other the tail rose up or twitched, and it carried Bhimsen with him. And so then he realized that that old monkey was Hanuman. And he asked Hanuman for his blessings, and Hanuman gave him his blessings. And he asked Hanuman for one additional benediction, and that is that Hanuman would manifest himself on the flag of Arjuna's chariot. Not just a picture of Hanuman, because Hanuman is present in his picture, present in his deity form, as are all the manifestations of God and pure devotees present in pictures and deity forms. But Hanuman really was on the flag. And what do I mean by that? Is that during the battle of Kurukshetra, when Arjuna and Krishna, of course, were on the chariot, the flag, which was Hanuman, was roaring. And the Mahabharata describes that that roaring of the flag was so loud and intense, like a sound weapon. Like nowadays, scientists are working on sound weapons. Sound weapon can scramble your brain, basically. Infrasound. What does that mean, infrasound? That means sound at a very low frequency. Very, very low, like 2, 3, 4 cycles a second. And so the sound coming from the flag, which was Hanuman, was able to destroy many of the soldiers on the opposite side in the Battle of Kurukshetra. It was very, very interesting. Most people don't know that. So I thought I would add that. And also Hanuman and Ram means you're going to be victorious. So if we are interested in being victorious in this world, we need to take shelter of Ram, that's Krishna, and Krishna's devotee. Because that's stated in the Adi Purana, that Krishna says, one who says he is my devotee is not my devotee, but one who says he is a devotee of my devotee is my devotee. And Lord Shiva says something similar. Of all types of worship, worship of Vishnu stands supreme, and even better than that is worship of Vishnu's devotees. So that's text 20. Now we'll go on to text 21 to 22. Arjuna Vacha Senayor Ubayor Madhye Ratham Stapaya Mechuta Yavadetan Niriksheham Yodu Kamam Avastitam Karmaya Sahayodavyam Asmin Rana Samudyam He. So the word by words. Arjuna Vacha, Arjuna said, Senayor of the armies, way on both, Madhye between, Ratam the chariot, Stapaya, please keep, May my Achyuta, O infallible one, Yavat, as long as, Etan, all these, Nirikshe, may look upon, Aham, I, Yodhu, come on, desiring to fight, Avastatan, arrayed on the battlefield, Kai, with whom? Maya, by me, Saha, together, Yodavyam, have to fight as men in this Rana, strife, Samudyame, in the attempt. Arjuna said, O infallible one, and here you can see that he's referring to Krishna as Achyuta, infallible one, please draw my chariot between the two armies so that I may see those present here who desire to fight and with whom I must contend in this great trial of arms. So Srila Prabhupada's purport, although Lord Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, out of his causeless mercy, he was engaged in the service of his friend. He never fails in his affection for his devotees. I'll repeat that again. He never fails in his affection for his devotees. And thus he is addressed herein as infallible. As a charioteer, he had to carry out the orders of Arjuna. And since he did not hesitate to do so, he is addressed as infallible. Although he had accepted the position of a charioteer for his devotee, his supreme position was not challenged. In all circumstances, he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Rishikesha, the Lord of the total senses. The relationship between the Lord and his servitor is very sweet and transcendental. The servitor is always ready to render service to the Lord. And similarly, the Lord is always seeking an opportunity to render some service to the devotee. It's a very important purport. He takes greater pleasure in his pure devotees assuming the advantageous position of ordering him than he does in being the giver of orders. Since he is the master, everyone is under his orders and no one is above him to order him. But when he finds that a pure devotee is ordering him, he obtains transcendental pleasure, although he is the infallible master in all circumstances. As a pure devotee of the Lord, Arjuna had no desire to fight with his cousins and brothers, but he was forced to come onto the battlefield by the obstinacy of Duryodhana, who was never agreeable to any peaceful negotiation. Therefore, he was very anxious to see who the leading persons present on the battlefield were. Although there was no question of a peacemaking endeavor on the battlefield, he wanted to see them again and to see how much they were bent upon demanding an unwanted war. Just one comment about Krishna taking more pleasure in being ordered than in ordering. And of course, that's in reference to Krishna's pure devotees. One of the qualities of pure devotional service, according to Srila Rupa Goswami, is that it attracts Krishna or even controls Krishna. Krishna is also known as Madan Mohan, and Radharani is known as Madan Mohan Mohini. That means she who attracts or even bewilders the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So Krishna voluntarily puts himself in this situation because that devotee who has that particular consciousness loves Krishna for who he is. In other words, loves Krishna because he's Krishna, not because he's God, not because of his position. Generally, people pray to someone who has a position, or someone who is rich, or someone who has other instances that are external to his particular personality or his status. But we love Krishna because he's Krishna. As Prabhupada one time said, that he loves Krishna whether or not he's God. Of course, Prabhupada understands. Let me turn off my phone so the people aren't texting me all the time. Prabhupada understands and understood that Krishna was God, but he was showing the mood of a Brajabasi. The mood of a Brajabasi is you forget that Krishna is God and you love him because he's Krishna. As simple as that. As simple as that. There's many stories that have nothing to do with Krishna consciousness, but sort of illustrate this point. That sometimes when a very rich man wants to find a wife, he dresses up like an ordinary person and looks for someone who will love him for who he is, rather than how much money he has. Because generally people marry because, well, love, whatever, but because of external things, extraneous things. So, anyway, so Krishna likes that when a devotee just loves him for himself. and is not approaching him for anything else like Om Jaya Jagadish Hari, I want something from you, please give it to me. Please, please, Krishna, please my senses. You're meant to please me. So Rishikesh means the proprietor of the senses, and not that we're the proprietor of Rishikesh's senses or the enjoyer of Rishikesh's senses. So anyway, so Krishna's really enjoying being ordered by Arjuna. Up to this point, when Krishna later on becomes the guru of Arjuna, then it's a different type of interaction. So text 23. So Arjuna is actually asking him to bring the chariot into the middle of the battlefield just to see what's happening. And actually, it's not just to see what's happening. Arjuna is beginning to have some emotional eruption at this particular point. Now, emotions are not necessarily bad. Emotions in relationship to Krishna are quite good. They're called bhavas. But material emotions, that is, material feelings, really have to be analyzed through the lens of intelligence. That's why we learn Shastra, Sambandha, Abhidaya Prayojana, so we can actually see Shastra Chakshus. See, is this particular feeling coming from the spiritual realm, or is it coming from the material mind, from the three modes of nature? So it's important to analyze. For example, you have this personality called Parikshit, who is always looking for Krishna. So we should always be Parikshit in this way, always looking for Krishna in everything and everywhere. And as my favorite verse in the Gita goes, Yomam pashati sarvatra sarvam chamayu pashati tashaham na pranashami sachame na pranashati. That's 6:30 in the Gita. One should see Krishna everywhere and see everything in Krishna, and one is never lost to Krishna, nor is Krishna ever lost to him. So we look for Krishna everywhere. Everywhere. In other words, let's say, well, here's a microphone. How do I look for Krishna in the microphone? I use it in Krishna service. It's connected to Krishna. It's Krishna's energy. And it becomes spiritualized when used for Krishna. So, next verse. And remember, they are actually going to go to the center of the battlefield at this particular point. Okay? Yotyamanam aviksheham yahi tetra samagataha Ratarastrasya durbuder yude priya chikir shabaha. Okay? Yotsamanan, those who will be fighting avikshe, let me see. Aham, I, yea, who, ete, those, atra, here, samagataha, assembled, Datarastrasya, for the son of Dhritarashtra, Durbudahe, evil-minded, Yud, hey, in the fight, Priya, well, Chakir, Shabaha, wishing. Translation, let me see those who have come here to fight, wishing to please the evil-minded son of Dhritarashtra. So, purport. It was an open secret that Duryodhana wanted to usurp the kingdom of the Pandavas by evil plans in collaboration with his father, Dhritarashtra. Therefore, all persons who had joined the side of Duryodhana must have been birds of the same feather. Arjuna wanted to see them on the battlefield before the fight was begun, just to learn who they were. But he had no intention of proposing peace negotiations with them. It was also a fact that he wanted to see them to make an estimate of the strength which he had to face, although he was quite confident of victory because Krishna was sitting by his side. Now, it's interesting that you notice here in the purport, it says they're all birds of the same feather. And we were talking the other day about grandfather Bhishma, who is, according to the Vedic literature, is one of the Dwadasa Mahajanas. That means the 12 great souls in the universe. You know, on the level of Shukadeva Goswami, Lord Brahma, etc., like that. So, birds of the same feather. Well, association. We mentioned that before. You know, what he ate, who he was associating with. You become like who you associate with. And the Gita says, Karanam Guna Sangasha, Sadasa Janma Jonishu. You actually take on the qualities of the modes which you associate with. And people are exuding certain modes. Except for pure devotees, they're exuding Krishna Prema. But in this material world, people are exuding certain modes, foods are exuding certain modes, certain times of the day are exuding certain modes, certain types of work are exuding certain modes, and you have to be antiseptic and aseptic. I was listening to a class today. Prabhupada was talking about something that's really familiar to all of us nowadays. It's called vaccinations. And we're all wondering when there will be a vaccine for the coronavirus. So Prabhupada was talking about being vaccinated against the illusory energy. Prabhupada said, when you go into a hospital, you wear a mask. I mean, obviously now, because of this way things are, we wear a mask. I'm not doing it now because I'm online. Basically, the nearest person is at least 10, 20 feet away. So when you, Prabhupada said you wear a mask, you take precautions and everything like that. Prabhupada was talking about this. It's quite interesting because you'll get infected. So there's subtle infection as well as gross infection. Gross infection means like the coronavirus. Subtle infection means the modes of nature. So here's someone like Grandfather Bhishma and Dronacharya. I mean, these weren't run-of-the-mill like rascals. These were great personalities. So even a great personality can become influenced by wrong association. There's the story of how Krishna's own son, little Boma, became influenced by bad association, and he started kidnapping ladies. And Krishna himself had to wipe him out because he became rather demonic by bad association. So association is everything. Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Sashakoi, Lava Mantra, Sadhu Sangha, Sarva Siddhi Hoy. By good association, you get all perfection. It's interesting, this verse says, and a moment's association, a good association, one gets all perfection. So one devotee asked Prabhupada, why is it that we have your association and we're not getting all perfection immediately? And Prabhupada said, it's how you take the association. It's up to you. You have that particular free will. If you take it in a moment, or it could take 10 million moments or 10 million years to be perfect or Krishna conscious. It's how you take it. How you take it is by hearing nicely, Shushro Shradanasha, Vasudeva Kacha Ruchi, Shanmahat Saiva Vipra, Punya Tirtha Nashevyat. Okay, next verse, text 24. So it's important to understand Prabhupada's explanations, also important to understand the context of what's happening here in this particular narration. So text 24 is Sanjayo Vacha Evam Ukto Rishikesho Gura Keshena Bharata Sanyorbayo Madhyestapa Yitva Ratotamam. Sanjayo Vacha, Sanjaya said, Evam thus Ukta, addressed Rishikesha, Lord Krishna, Guda Keshena, by Arjuna, means conqueror of sleep. Bharata, O descendant of Bharata, Sanyo of the armies, Ubayo, both, Madhye in the mist, Stapayitva, placing, Rata Uttamam, the finest chariot. Remember that chariot was given by Agni. That's the description we read in the beginning of this chapter. So, translation. Actually, this is exciting. This is exciting. It is definitely, this narration is extremely exciting for several reasons. It's Krishna's pastimes. And secondly, it's Srila Prabhupada's association. When we read Srila Prabhupada's books, we're getting his association. We're directly, and we know we're pleasing him. I mean, there's no doubt about it. When you read Srila Prabhupada's books, you know you're pleasing him. You don't have to ask anyone about it. Okay. So Sanjaya said, O descendant of Bharata, having thus been addressed by Arjuna, Lord Krishna drew up the fine chariot in the midst of the armies of both parties. So in the purport, Prabhupada explains, in this verse, Arjuna is referred to as Gudakesha. Gudaka means sleep. And one who conquers sleep is called Gudakesha. Sleep also means ignorance. So let me unpack that for a second. It's not that you should be thinking that when you're sleeping, it's bad. It's not. Prabhupada also said in another instance, and the Vedic literatures say that One's memory and intelligence is a function of sleep. In other words, if you get enough sleep, you'll be more intelligent. If you get too much sleep, you'll be dull. So one should not sleep too much, sleep too little, eat too much, eat too little. But mityahara vihara shel. That's what the Bhagavad Gita describes. Be moderate. And don't feel guilty if you need to go to sleep. Prabhupada said those who drive a car should sleep at least 7 or 8 hours a night, because many devotees crashed cars and some devotees died when Prabhupada was on the planet. So don't take a negative attitude towards sleep. I mean, sometimes Prabhupada would make the comment that one should not sleep more than 6 hours a night, but that's a general statement. If one needs more, let them take more. It's a question of what you need. Prabhupada said, as far as eating, if you can work like an elephant, you can eat like an elephant. But if you're going to work like a sloth, then eat tiny amounts. Sloth is like an animal that just crawls around and doesn't do too much, just eats and sleeps. So it's a question of what you need to maximize your service to Krishna. That's how you understand how much to sleep. Don't say sleep is ignorance and terrible. Oh, let's say someone gets sick, has the coronavirus. Oh, you're in ignorance. No. The body is a machine. Prabhupada was very, very concerned when devotees got sick. Many times he told them to rest, sometimes even sent them to Hawaii to rest up. So Arjuna conquered both sleep and ignorance because of his friendship with Krishna. As a great devotee of Krishna, he could not forget Krishna even for a moment, because that is the nature of a devotee. Remember, it says he could not forget Krishna even for a moment. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur describes that when a great devotee tries to forget Krishna, his mind, someone's beeping there, when he tries to forget Krishna, his mind goes immediately back to Krishna. And when you have a materialistic person, when he tries to think of Krishna, his mind automatically goes back to Maya. So it's the opposite. So you can tell if you're advanced. Here's a test. Try to think, well, you don't have to try to think of Maya. Try to think of Krishna and keep the mind on Krishna or things connected with Krishna or Krishna's devotees for 1 minute. And you'll see you're not so advanced. It really teaches you humility. 1 minute. I'll just give you 1 minute, 60 seconds. I'm not going to give it to you now, but that should be a test. So it says he could not forget Krishna even for a moment, because that is the nature of a devotee. Either in waking or in sleep, a devotee of the Lord can never be free from thinking of Krishna's name, form, qualities, and pastimes. Thus, a devotee of Krishna can conquer both sleep and ignorance simply by thinking of Krishna constantly. So thinking of Krishna constantly means to think of Krishna's service, Krishna's devotees, saving people in this world. I mean, all sorts of things are connected, are Krishna Katha. It's not only, Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, but the pastimes of Krishna's devotees. Anything connected to Krishna, that's called Krishna Katha. This is called Krishna consciousness or samadhi. And of course, there's another verse in the Bhagavad Gita that illustrates this. Brahmarpanam brahmahavir brahmagno brahmanahutam brahmatena gantavyam brahma karma samadhinam. That if one is absorbed in work for Krishna, that's samadhi. Brahma karma samadhinam. As Rishikesh, or the director of the senses and mind of every living entity, Krishna could understand Arjuna's purpose in placing the chariot in the midst of the armies. Thus he did so and spoke as follows. So, in other words, Krishna is in the heart. Krishna knew exactly what Arjuna was intending to do. And actually, he knows everything past, present, and future. Bhagavad Gita states this. Krishna says to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I know everything past, present, and future. So sometimes people ask, does that mean there's no free will? No, it doesn't. It just means that Krishna knows which way you're going to use your free will. That's all. Because he's God. He knows everything. So, next text. This is actually a very important text, too. Bhishma drona pramukata sarvesham chamahikshitam Uvacha Partha Pashaitan Samavetan Kuruniti. So the translation, word by word translation. Bhishma, grandfather of Bhishma, Drona, the teacher Drona, Pramukataha, in front of Sarvesham, all, Cha also, Mahik Shitam, chiefs of the world, Uvacha said, Partha, O son of Pritha, Pasha, just behold, Etan, all of them, some of Etan, assembled Kurun, the members of the Kuru dynasty, Iti, thus. So translation, in the presence of Bhishma, Drona, and all the other chieftains of the world, the Lord said, just behold, O Partha, all the Kurus assembled here. So, Prabhupada's purport, as the super soul of all living entities, Lord Krishna could understand what was going on in the mind of Arjuna. The use of the word Rishikesh in this connection indicates he knew everything. And the word Partha, or the son of Kunti, or Pritha, is also similarly significant in reference to Arjuna. As a friend, he wanted to inform Arjuna that because Arjuna was the son of Pritha, the sister of his own father, Vasudeva, he had agreed to be the charioteer of Arjuna. Now, what did Krishna mean when he told Arjuna to behold the Kurus? Did Arjuna want to stop there and not fight? Krishna never expected such things from the son of his aunt Pritha. The mind of Arjuna was thus predicated by the Lord in friendly joking. In other words, on one level, Krishna never expected it. On another level, Krishna knew what was going to happen. Because Krishna is acting as if he didn't expect Arjuna to be in Maya and not want to fight in the battle of Kurukshetra. And so he's still assuming the friendly relationship with Arjuna and sort of predicating Arjuna's response. You know, why do you want to do this? In other words. So anyway, so Krishna is aware of what Arjuna is going to be doing. Okay, text 26. I mean, I could go on all night with this. We're going to stop in a few minutes and take questions. Tatra pashat statan partha pitrinata pitamahan acharyan matulan bratrin putran sakim stata swashuran suradatstoiva senayor vayorapi. So Tatra there, a pashat, he could see. Stitan, standing, Partha, Arjuna, Pitrin, fathers, Ata also, Pitamahan, grandfathers, Acharyan, teachers, Matulan, maternal uncles, Bratrin, brothers, Putran, sons, Potran, grandsons, Sakin, friends, Tata, too, Swasharan, fathers-in-law, Suraha, well-wishers, Cha, also, Eva, certainly, Senaya, of the armies, Ubayo, of both parties, Api, including. There Arjuna could see within the midst of the armies of both parties his fathers, grandfathers, teachers, maternal uncles, brothers, sons, grandsons, friends, and also his fathers-in-law and well-wishers. On the battlefield, purport, on the battlefield Arjuna could see all kinds of relatives. He could see persons like Bhurishrava, who were his father's contemporaries, grandfathers, Bhishma, and Somadatta, teachers like Dronacharya and Kripacharya, maternal uncles like Shalya and Shakuni. Of course, Shakuni was a bad guy, but Shalya was sort of like tricked to fight on the other side. You can read about that in the Mahabharata. Brothers like Duryodhana, sons like Lakshmana, friends like Ashwatthama, well-wishers like Kritavarma, etc. He could see, whoops, I'm getting too excited. That's what happens. Etc. He could also see the armies, which contained many of his friends. So, this point is being brought out that all these people who Arjuna had a bodily connection or a sentimental connection with are right in front of him. I mean, it's really interesting. Also, we have to understand that people like Kritavarma, for example, were associated with Krishna, and they came from Dwarka. Now, why was he on the opposite side of the battle of Kurukshetra? And it's such an interesting story, is because when it was going to be decided who would have Krishna and who would have Krishna's army, Then Duryodhana wanted to have the first choice, and Arjuna also wanted to have the first choice. So what happened is that Krishna was resting, and he said, whoever I see first that day, I will give him the choice of whoever he wants, my army or me. So Krishna was resting, and Duryodhana arrived first, and Duryodhana was sitting right by Krishna's head, and Arjuna was sitting on the floor by Krishna's feet. And Krishna woke up and he looked at his feet first, and he saw Arjuna. And so he said, Arjuna, you got first choice. And Arjuna, he actually wanted Krishna rather than the whole army of Dwarka. And Duryodhana was in ecstasy because the idea was that Krishna was not going to fight. So who wants Krishna without fighting? Of course I do. But and Arjuna did too, because of his love for Krishna. Because he understood that wherever there is Krishna, there is the goddess of fortune. Rama is there, as we mentioned before. Hanuman is there. All the devotees are there. All good fortune is there wherever Krishna is, the goddess of fortune. The goddess of fortune is not anywhere else but where Krishna is. Just like Ravan, he tried to kidnap the goddess of fortune. He tried to kidnap Sita Devi. And instead of getting Sita Devi, he got Maya Sita. Maya Sita means Durga. Durga means to move with great difficulty, means to be punished. Adhyatmik, Adhibodhik, Adhidaivik, the 3 points of the trident. And that's what he got. So if you get anything material without Krishna, you simply get pain, suffering, disappointment, defeat. Like pavaga, ma, ba, parishrama, foaming at the mouth, hard work, fainting, and ultimately bhaya, fear, and ultimately death. So Arjuna understood that. But Duryodhana, he didn't understand that, so he was in ecstasy. Not in spiritual ecstasy, but he was in ecstasy. Oh, I've gotten Krishna's army, the Narayana army. Wow. And he had many more akshahinis, that means mounts of soldiers, than Arjuna did on his side. But the point is, if you have one Krishna, he can defeat the whole universe. He can defeat everybody. So Arjuna had that faith and had that love of Krishna. So that's why people like Kritavarma was actually on the other side, and Krishna's army was on the other side. That's interesting. And so Krishna was actually, not only was Arjuna, so let me unpack that a little bit, not only was Arjuna fighting against people he knew, but Krishna was guiding Arjuna to fight against people that he knew in the battle. His own men, his own associates, he was fighting against. So Arjuna and Krishna, but Krishna understanding the purpose of everything and ultimately being detached and not having any bodily attachment. He's attached to his devotees, attached to, out of compassion to everybody, but not physically, bodily, materially. So Krishna was in a calm mind able to guide Arjuna. Whereas Arjuna, because of his attachment, was not able to have a calm, peaceful mind. Without having a calm, peaceful mind, you can't make proper decisions. What do they say? When you do something in haste, you lament at leisure. In other words, if you act quickly without thinking first, then you'll get a lot of time to lament about your decision. So this is another lesson from the Bhagavad-Gita, that Arjuna was going to make a decision based upon his emotions, not upon his intelligence, based upon not his cool head, but his hot head at this particular point. And Krishna always kept a very cool head, knowing what was best for everyone. Okay, so I think we should, we've been speaking enough time, so let us take some questions from everybody, if that's all right. So does anyone have any good questions before we turn it over to Raditya Narayan, who is right here with us? What
Hare
great
Krishna,
fortune.
Guruji.
Haribol, Rishikesh.
Please
We were
accept
just
my
talking about you in the Bhagavad-Gita.
Gurudev, I had a question about this Narayani Sena. Basically, Krishna says, Paritranaya sadhuna vinachaya sa duskrita. But Narayani Sena was not Duskritanam. So why they got annihilated for no reason?
What did you say exactly? The Narayana army, yeah. Why was it annihilated? Okay. One reason is that, first of all, anyone who passed away in the battle of Kurukshetra, they actually got liberated or went back to Godhead. Actually, because it's very auspicious. So he was sending them back to Godhead. Because even if you are part of Krishna's army, wish we could be louder. But anyway, even if you are Krishna's army, a part of Krishna's army, you have to leave your body ultimately, and then you go back to Godhead. So they got a chance to participate in the pastime. So, yes, because very few people were left alive after the battle of Kurukshetra. Hare Krishna.
So
Yeah,
even
very
with
few people.
Duryodhan army also, they also went back to Godhead. Other also. Right.
Well, let me try to find the speaker here. So, what is that, Rishikesh?
So even if Duryodhan army, not Duryodhan army, they also went back to Godhead along with Narayana Sena.
They at least got liberated. Those who are impious, they can get killed by the Lord or by the Lord's associates, and they get liberated, which means they get the opportunity to take devotional service, or they go to heaven. They get free from karma, but they don't necessarily go back to Godhead unless they are actually pure devotees of the Lord.
Okay.
So it's not that everyone went back to Godhead. Everyone at least got liberated. There's a difference. Liberated means freed from your sins. Liberated doesn't necessarily mean going back to the spiritual world. Okay?
Thank you, Guruji.
So, who else has a question? Oh, Nalini Kant. You have a question? Oh, okay. Namaruchi.
I was just thinking, is it the same in Krishna's childhood when he killed the demons? Is it the same? Is it the same that they got liberated? They didn't go back to Godhead?
Well, some of the demons, yes. Some of the demons, no. Putana, she went back to Godhead. And some of the demons, it depends upon whether they actually had some devotion. Putana had some devotion because in a previous life, she actually wanted to become the mother of Krishna. And so it was a mixed bag for her. Mixed bag, that's a hippie expression. She had some devotion. She actually had maternal affection for Krishna, and also she wanted to kill Krishna. Because of her previous life, she was the sister of Bali Maharaj, and she first saw Krishna as Vamana, and she thought, I really want to have him as a son. But when he did his trick against her brother, she thought, well, he may be my son, but I'm going to kill him. So it was mixed. So it's not that every demon got killed, went back to God. Some just got liberation in the personal Brahmajyoti, and some of them may have gone to the heavenly planets, but at least they got liberated from karma. Getting freed from karma doesn't get you back to Godhead. That's a neutral position. What gets you back to God is bhakti. Bhakti mam avijannanti yavanyas chatsmi tadvataha. Only by love can Krishna be known. So if you have a little love, Krishna will actually amplify it. Just a little. But if you're completely absorbed in hate, that's another subject matter. So you have to have at least a little love, and then next life you can build on that, next life you can build on that, and eventually go back to Godhead. Bahunam janmanamante gyanavam mam prabhajate vasudeva sarvamiti sa mahatma sudurlabha. Okay, another question.
Yes. Dandavats, Maharaj.
Oh yes, Ujjwala Rasatya.
Yes.
Very nice to see you.
Maharaj, very, very nice to see Maharaj. Maharaj, if you could please kindly elaborate on the liberation part, because sometimes the liberation may mean liberation from karma. Sometimes liberation may mean liberation into the Brahma Jyoti. So if it is liberation from karma, until what stage of karma is a so-called non-devotee liberated? Because it can range until avidya. And according to the scriptures, my understanding is only pure devotional service can erase somebody's karma until the stage of avidya, not just the prarabdha or aprarabdha. So if you could please elaborate on that.
According to the Nectar of Devotion, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur, all karma is eradicated by namabhas. That's Bhaktivinoda Thakur. That means parabdha karma, aparabdha karma, kutabija, and all those other things. However, that's karma. But the living entity also has his desire apart from karma. And his desire is Krishna Bahirmukha. He's turned his face away from Krishna. But because he's turned his face away from Krishna, then he naturally associates with others who have turned their face away from Krishna, and he picks up on their modes of nature. So we're not really talking about karma here, because karma, according to Bhaktivinoda Thakur and the Harinam Chintamani and other literatures, that even namabhas karma, namabhas chanting, namabhas, which means accidental or meaning something else, or joking or derisive, things like that, that can free one from all the types of karma, including prarabdha karma. Prarabdha karma. And actually, there's an interesting statement. I was listening to a memory that one devotee, I think it was a girl, had about Prabhupada, what Prabhupada said. And once upon a time, this devotee's mother, who was really adverse to Krishna consciousness, was getting ready to leave her body, die, that is. And as she was getting ready to leave her body, and she didn't like Krishna, she said to her daughter, who was a devotee, "Where is your Krishna now?" And the last thing she said, Krishna now. And Prabhupada said, by the mercy of the daughter who was a devotee, she went back to Godhead. Oh my God. So it's good to have some devotee children, even if you happen to be, So that's like your insurance policy. So make sure all your daughters become pure devotees, and then you don't have to worry about anything.
Okay, Maharaj, thank you for the answer.
Thank you for the question. I mean, the main thing that I usually stress is that I have extreme faith in the holy name, because that's what I've been taught by the acharyas, and all I know is if I can chant the holy name nicely, purely, then I'll get all success. And if I can get everybody else to hear the holy name from someone like Srila Prabhupada, they will make spiritual advancement eventually go back to Godhead, even though it may take another birth or two. So it's really everything we do is based upon the holy name. Kalo Nasteva, 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 Gatir Anyata. So who else has a question?
Maharaj, this is Abhiram.
Oh, Abhiram, good to see you again.
How are you, Maharaj?
I'm fine.
Maharaj, I have one question in regards of when we are using the instruments and the service of the Lord, as you had given one of the example of the microphone. But sometimes when a devotees have an intention, just for the namesake or on the basis of the faith, they say that we are going to use in the name for the Krishna service. But in other words, they used to use on their own purpose or for their sense gratification. So will it be acceptable at that time, the Krishna consciousness?
I think their desire has to be pure, because there's also the point of, we hear in the Nectar of Instruction, achahara, collecting too much or accepting something that's not absolutely necessary. For example, all right, let's give myself, for example. Let's say I have to go somewhere in a preaching engagement. So I think, well, I actually need a Maserati. I don't know if you know what a Maserati is. No, you don't know what it is. I actually need, all right, let's get to another car. A Tesla. You probably know what a Tesla is.
Yeah.
No. Or I'm trying to think of another fancy car, Jaguar or a Mercedes. Let's say, all right, I want to go on a preaching engagement, so the devotee should buy me a Mercedes. Because Prabhupada once said that even a gold car is not good enough for the guru. So I'm guru, so a gold car is not good enough for me. So that would, because the desire would not be to please Krishna. Krishna sees your desire. Yes, we can use anything in Krishna's service, but it's a question of what is our desire. We want to enjoy that thing and use the concept of Krishna's service to enjoy that particular thing. Then that's not pure devotional service. Of course, Krishna is so kind, akama, sarvakama, moksha kama dharvati. Krishna will purify us of that. If you really want something, all right, Krishna will let you have it, and then you realize after a while it was just a headache and unnecessary. It's over endeavor, collecting too much. Two things that are mentioned in the Nectar of Instruction by Srila Rupa Goswami. Achahara prayasas. Those two words. Achahara means collecting too much or accepting too many things other than they're necessary for pleasing Krishna or serving Krishna. And then prayasas, that means unnecessary or over endeavor to acquire those things. Okay. So both of those things actually are detrimental to Krishna consciousness. So we have to be careful what we use in Krishna service and not say, I want the best possible car to use in Krishna service. Of course, I do want the best possible computer because I need a powerful computer to do what I'm doing. So that's okay. But, up to a limit. Up to a limit. So we have to be careful. We don't accept things that simply meant for our own sense gratification in the name of Krishna's service, and then we have to over-endeavor to get them. So one more question, because we are running out of time. Okay. Oh, Rishikesh, you have another question.
Yes, actually, no one has any one question, then I can ask one.
Okay, just ask your question.
Yes, Gurudev, I had a question about, I read in Srimad Bhagavatam that if a person is very much a good devotee, then the Lord gives him opulence, like he gave opulence to Sudama. And, sometimes suppose a devotee gets the opulence, how does he protect himself, saying that, hey, I should not be using this for my sense gratification?
Okay, all right, that's a good question about Sudama. He got a lot of opulence. Krishna will give someone opulence if the person can use it properly in Krishna's service. And it won't come with much endeavor. Like you see, Srila Prabhupada. How much opulence did Srila Prabhupada get in serving Krishna? Unlimited opulence. I mean, like Prabhupada commented that before he took sannyas, he had some children who wouldn't listen to him. And then after that, he started preaching, and he got so many children who were ready to do whatever he said, who were completely surrendered to him. I mean, how many of you have children, some of you are married, who will do whatever you ask them to do with a smile on their faces? Wow, I don't think maybe some of you do. I don't want to offend any of your children, but it's not very common that the child will say, Mom, whatever you want, I'll do. And even if you look at them like that, just, okay, I'll do it immediately. When Prabhupada said, devotees should only eat once a day, that's what the devotees did. Prabhupada said, everyone should go on and distribute books. Everybody did that. You don't have children like that. So Prabhupada was awarded this immense opulence by Krishna, and he didn't have to endeavor. Sometimes people have immense opulence, and they misuse it because of their material desires. They've gotten it, not because Krishna is awarding it for their devotional service. Krishna is actually giving them a rope to hang themselves with, so to speak, to prove themselves, and then they fail the test, and then they have to take the test over again. However, with something comes without much endeavor, and it can be used in Krishna's service, that's an indication that it's from Krishna, without much endeavor. So Prabhupada didn't like this over-endeavoring for things. Of course, we can endeavor like anything to preach and distribute Krishna consciousness, but for our material facilities, we have to be careful about this point about over-endeavoring. You know, we need a certain amount of rooms in our house. We shouldn't be like a certain person I just read. He had like several houses in Los Angeles. Each house had like 20, 30 bedrooms. I mean, how many bedrooms can you sleep in at once? And plus, you got to keep the place clean. You got to hire a whole army of different maids to take care of it. Anyway, so with that happy note, tomorrow we're going to be continuing every night or every afternoon at 6 o'clock, continuing with this Bhagavad-Gita reading and brief discussions of each verse to help us understand the Bhagavad-Gita in the entirety of the Bhagavad-Gita. Now we'd like to turn this over to Aditya Narayan Prabhu. You want to use my microphone? And yeah, sure, come on, and then I'll just give you the microphone, and I'll point this.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
So Hare Krishna. So we'd like to thank His Holiness Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj for the wonderful class on Bhagavad Gita. And while Maharaj was like reading the verses with the word to word and the translation and purport with the explanation, I was thinking like this is so wonderful, so nectarian to actually read through the entire Bhagavad Gita with wonderful explanation by His Holiness Bir Krishna Goswami Maharaj. So thank you so much, Maharaj, for this wonderful opportunity to relish Bhagavad Gita with your wonderful explanations. I'm very grateful that you have actually taken up this wonderful opportunity to share Bhagavad Gita with all of us. So as Maharaj mentioned, it's going to be every day, 6 p.m. Eastern time, except on Sundays, it's at 5 p.m. So thank you so much, Maharaj. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Yeah. Yes, Maharaj. After I have few announcements. And is Mother Leela Shakti there? She had an announcement to make. Okay, so when she comes back, she can make she has one announcement. But also I want to announce that at least for our Eastern Coast, tomorrow is Ekadashi. So it's a good day to increase our spiritual activities and fast from grains and beans. And also I want to announce about the Sankirtan that we are doing during this lockdown time. So we have devotees, and this is like inspired by His Grace Vaisheshika Prabhu, and this is all over North America and also in Europe and other parts of the world. And Maharaj was actually telling me how he has inspired devotees in New Zealand to go out and distribute books. So the way it's like a totally different format that we are doing it right now is the system that we are doing right now is we are actually reaching out to our personal contacts, and then we actually text them, talk to them, find out how they are doing, and then we actually bring up the books and we tell how this is such a wonderful opportunity to receive books. And it's wonderful, like we are getting a lot of success. Like I just want to read our scores for just last 3 days. So on Thursday we distributed 1 Srimad Bhagavatam set and 1 Krishna book set. On Saturday we actually had 4 sets, 1 English Srimad Bhagavatam set, 1 Telugu Srimad Bhagavatam set, 1 Hindi set, and 1 Hindi Chaitanya Charitamrita set. Then today we had 1 English Srimad Bhagavatam set. So just in these 5 days, we distributed 6 Srimad Bhagavatam sets, 3 Bhagavad Gitas, 1 Chaitanya Charitamrita set, and 7 small books. So it's a wonderful opportunity. We are all at home, so we can take this opportunity, reach out to our contacts, text them, communicate, and let them know about the books. And we are actually shipping out books now any place in North America. So if you have contacts, your relatives, like I was talking to one devotee and she said, my cousins were not so favorable, but I just reached out to them and they actually accepted a full set of Srimad Bhagavatam. So it's a wonderful opportunity to reach out. And Shreya is here, and she actually wants to quickly share one experience where she actually texted one of her contacts, and she had a wonderful experience. So it's so inspiring to hear Shreya. She's actually so enthusiastic. She's actually taking time, texting her contacts and then following up with them and then getting so many orders of Srimad Bhagavatam and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So actually these scores, one Srimad Bhagavatam, actually Sadhvi Radha Mataji actually got the contact. One Srimad Bhagavatam and one CC set was actually Shreya, who actually got the contact, and she said she has more people asking for books. So if Shreya, you're on your line, yes, she's online, I saw her. So you can just unmute your line, and if you want to quickly share your wonderful experience.
Hi, Prabhu, Dandavat Maharaj. So I've been following the same outlet as the kids at ISV. So the contacts that I am contacting are from my mother's phone. So they're my mother's contacts. And she just sends them a message asking if her daughter can give a small presentation on the Srimad Bhagavatam or Chaitanya Charitamrita. And so since my mother already knows these people, the receptivity rates are higher. And so there was one instance where the couple, they came to a Bhakti Vriksha, so they were already very favorable. And I showed them the presentation on Srimad Bhagavatam, and I'll show them the presentation on Chaitanya Charitamrita. And so they took a set because they enjoyed the presentation, not just that, but because they were already favorable. And so even if they don't take sets, just preparing the presentation and showing them the whatever you have prepared is a very purifying process, not just for me or whoever is presenting, but for all those who are seeing. So it's been a really good time doing this.
Thank you so much, Shreya. So actually she got, she's getting so many orders by reaching out to her contacts. And the way we are distributing, either we ship it right to their house, or if they are local, in Cary, Greensboro, Winston-Salem, we are actually driving up to the house and just leaving the set outside. Just like Amazon, you can get the package outside. We leave it outside and we text them right away that your sets are outside, please come and pick it up. And we just wait outside, they take the set, and that's it. So coming up on 20 of June is Bhakti Vinod Thakur's appearance or disappearance. I think. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur's appearance or different, I'm not sure, but that's coming up. So all over North America and all over the world, we are actually trying to make a goal towards Bhakti Vinod Thakur's appearance, and then we are going to try to distribute as many sets and offer it on his appearance or disappearance day. So yeah. So that was about the Sankirtan. So please, if you know any contacts, reach out to them, or if you want to get involved, how to do it, like what's a good technique to reach out to them, please contact us and we'll send you the scripts. We already have scripts ready. You can just text them, follow up with the script, you know exactly what to say, and it's a wonderful experience. So so let's keep the Sankirtan going on even during these coronavirus times. So thank you so much. Hare Krishna. I think Mother Leela Shakti, I saw her. So.
Hare Krishna, I'm sorry, I've been busy with
Yes.
service all day. Hare Krishna, did I miss something? I apologize. No.
Do you have announcement, Mother Leela Shakti? I thought you were going to announce about Mother Krishna Nandini and.
Oh, right, yes, right. So, Mother Krishna Nandini, who had recently moved to Chapel Hill, and she greatly appreciated Nugaloka, the Nugaloka family, and of course the deities. She recently was in Vrindavan, and she underwent the treatment for advanced stage cancer, and the Ayurvedic treatment, and that proved to be a little bit challenging for her. She was in a lot of pain, so she decided that that wasn't the path that she wanted to take to try to, with that disease. So she came back, actually right before sort of lockdowns and everything happened. She came back and she began pretty rigorous chemotherapy and radiation treatment, and kind of the conventional therapies for the advanced stage cancer, and that also now has proven to be unsuccessful. So now she's been kind of released from any treatment, and they've told her that she should just, be a hospice patient, and she's now resting at her home. She's not undergoing any more treatment, and there's not really anything that they can do with this sort of aggressive form of cancer that she has. So we're just requesting everyone to please pray for Mother Krishnandini. She's a very, very wonderful disciple of Srila Prabhupada, just has done an amazing amount of service in her life and helped so many people. She's just really just a touchstone for Krishna consciousness. In fact, she was, or she is, undergoing the process to become a female Diksha Guru, because she has so many individuals that she has been mentoring and guiding in their spiritual life for a very long time. And so just request that everybody could possibly pray for Mother Krishnandini and also her family, who is taking care of her now at her home in Chapel Hill, and for strength. And if there's anything that anyone can do, we haven't been able to determine if she can receive guests or if there's any sort of requests that she has, because it's been kind of sudden that she's just now sort of classified as a hospice patient. So we don't know if there's anything anyone can do from our end as a community, but if there is, I'll certainly reach out to those who are maybe could help in some way, or if she is able to have visitors, maybe, of course, Vaishnava Association is very crucial at this time, and the final days of somebody's, on the planet, devotee on the planet. So, kirtan and things like that. But she is immunocompromised, and with the current situation of COVID-19, it's not really clear if she's allowed to have visitors. So we might not get that opportunity, unfortunately, to sort of, pay respects, pay our visitations, and be enlivened by such a wonderful Vaishnava, because she's still just speaking so much wonderful Krishna Katha, and she is in such a wonderful consciousness and frame of mind about everything. She's really a beautiful example of someone with this kind of challenge ahead. She's just taking it in stride, and she seems, very upbeat. She's resigned to the fact that, pretty soon she'll be going back home, back to Godhead. So she's actually seems very blissful. So if we can have the opportunity to go take darshan of this wonderful Vaishnavi, I will certainly loop you all in. And in the meantime, if everyone could just pray and pray for the family again, and for her, easy passage, because she has been in a lot of pain with so many treatments and like that. So, so she's a wonderful Vaishnavi. So.
Okay. Thank you very much, Leela Shakti. And we're going to chant the prayers to Lord Nrsingadev for her benefit and for the benefit of all the devotees around the world and all the humanity and every living entity around the world during these difficult times and during all times. So we're going to end with the prayers to Lord Nrsingadev. And it's, let's see, one thing I wanted to mention. Oh, there was some devotees that just noticed online. Hold on a second. I just saw some devotees, some Fiji, but I don't see them anymore. I saw Saki and Shona. I don't see them right now. Oh, there they are. I just wanted to say hello.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Good to see you. I miss you.
Likewise, Gurudev. We miss you as well.
Say Hare Krishna to Shona for me.
I will. She just ran upstairs now.
All right. Hare Krishna. So we're going to chant the Lord Nrsingadev now. And we'll end with that. Namaste Narasimhaya Pulanana Jayone. Hiranyakasi Purvaksha. Silatam Kanakalaike. Itona Singha, Paratona Singha, Itona Singha. Yato, Yato Yamitatona Singha. Bahina Singho, Hridayena Singho. Nasringamadim Sharanam Prapajoy. Tavakara Kamalabure Nakahom Abuta Singho. Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tanu Bringa home Kesavatrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jaga Dishare Jaya Jagadesa Kunte Jaya Jagadesore. Dalita Hiranyakasipu Tanu Pringaham Kesavadrita Narahari Rupa Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Jagadisha Re Jaya Nasringadev 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 Jaya Nasringadev. Jaya Nasringadev Jaya Nasringadev Nasringadev Jaya Nasringadev. Jaya Palad Maharaj, Palad Maharaj, Palad Maharaj, Jaya Palad Maharaj. Jai, the Singha Bhagavan Palad Maharaj ki Jai. And now I'm going to give you darshan of the deities. Take me 1 second, and I will share the darshan of the deities with you. Hold on a second. Hopefully. Yeah, there we go. All right. Uh-oh, the camera's not on the deities. It's on me. It should not be. Jagat, if you're watching, please put the camera on the deities so we can see the deities. Jagat. Or I can probably control the camera. Hold on 1 second. 1 little second. All right. There we go. Jagat was watching. Glory. So here you can see Radhagalokananda. So as you can see, the deity worship is going on regularly with the deities, and anyone who wants to sponsor an arti or is help in some way with the deity worship, we have a very small crew, a skeleton crew, and you're welcome to help out. And as Aditya Narayan Prabhu mentioned, and I'll actually put it on, I will actually put the PayPal link on right now, so you can all see it. Wait a second. All right. Give me 1 second. In the meantime, you can see the deities. Anyway, the PayPal link is nugaloka108 at gmail.com. That's easy to remember. Nugaloka, NEUGOLOKA 108 at gmail.com. And let me see if I can. So we'll let you all take shelter of the deities for a few minutes, and then we'll go off the air. Radha Golokananda ki jai.
Un problemático en la cabina 8. Olvídalo. Lo del bloque de la cabina 3. Por Dios, no son los calcetines que ella trae. Vamos.
All right. So, just goodbye to everybody. And I see Praneshra is on with us. Hare Krishna, Praneshra. Oh, Shona's there.
Hare Krishna, Gurudev.
Shona, I miss you. Bye-bye.
Hi Krishna, I miss you too.
Do you miss me too? That's nice. Hopefully I can get back there if Krishna lets me come back soon. All right. Hare Krishna. We'll see everybody later. We're going to end this. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.